Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 63 of the Revive Yourself podcast. Here we go.
Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Have you got a health issue that just won't go away no matter what you try? Then welcome to the Revive Yourself podcast, where we reveal the secrets to long-lasting health by getting to the root cause of problems that no one else is talking about. So you can have more energy, clear skin, healthier hair, a leaner physique, more confidence, and most importantly, do the things you love and live the life you deserve. Here's your host, Ryan Martin.
So guys, hope you're well and welcome to episode 63 of the Revive Yourself podcast. Been getting some fascinating feedback really from you regarding all the episodes. Still getting great messages about the interviews I've done with Warren Williams and Paul Chek, also Dr. Holick, and been getting some great feedback on the interview I did with Dave Murphy about urine therapy, and I'll go into that at the end a little bit more. Today's episode is actually going to be with the girls from Your Sacred Witness, Erin and Jess. It's an interview where they actually interviewed me live for their 10-week seminar, 10-week live event really. It's called The Revolution of Evolution, where they got some really good guests on there, and I got some really nice feedback from people listening to it live. So I thought, why not share it with you guys here? Because hopefully you'll get some good information, maybe even a few little nuggets that you can take away with you, and things that will make you think. And obviously, the girls are great. So without further ado, here is the interview, and I'll see you on the other side.
This is Jess.
And this is Erin.
And we are Your Sacred Witness. Our mission is to see a world where everyone knows, lives, and walks out their truth. That's why we have come together for the next 10 weeks with 10 amazing experts in the fields of health and wellness, nutrition, education, sound therapy, energy work, so many cool things. And a big part of this, well, the main reason that we've done this is because we want to help you take your power back. I know for me personally, I have been on this journey for a really long time, and I've spent a good portion of my life in fear. And I realized that I was in fear because I was giving my power away. And so this is a very personal journey for me, as well as I would have to say for Erin, but yeah. So this is really important to us. So we just want to help you provide knowledge, provide information, and on ways that you can take your power back as well. What we've realized along this journey too is that you have to really feel into the information that's out there, because there is so much circulating right now. And I go by what resonates with me, but I also go by where the information's coming from. So if you dig in and you see, you can dig pretty deep and you can see that a lot of stuff that is being shared is paid for in large part by corporations, by government. So this is really just to help people to take their power back and step into their truth. So tonight, I'm really excited to announce our very first guest, Ryan Martin. Ryan is, he's the founder of Revive. He's a health coach. He's a podcast host. And Ryan has a really, really amazing journey, which I'm going to have him share just a little bit of tonight. But what I love about Ryan is that his journey and the work he does with everyone, it encompasses all levels, and that is physical health, emotional health, spiritual health. Ryan really addresses all levels. And so I know with my own personal journey, that's been really important. So I'm really excited, really, really excited to have Ryan on tonight. And so for those of you who haven't who didn't catch our podcast with Ryan, maybe we should start out with Ryan just giving a little bit about his story.
Yeah.
And how he got to where he's at right now. So
hey
welcome,
guys.
Ryan.
Welcome,
Hey guys. Hey, I don't know if can you see me, because my screen has just gone for some reason. Can you see me at all?
No, it just says your name now. Oh man.
Weird. Well, that's happened. Very strange, but I don't know. See if I can do anything there. Start video. Don't know why it's done that. But oh well.
I don't know either. Hold on, let me see something.
Strange, but I mean, we can go if you want. I mean, you can just. Well.
I don't know either. Hold on, let me see something. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I say let's just go with this anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries.
Hopefully you'll come back.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know why it's like that, but anyway, just wanted to say first of all as well, guys, thanks for having me on the show, and also thank you for doing this for everyone, putting out this information for people, because I think, as you said there's a lot of misinformation out there at the moment, and it's great for you to get this information out to your audience and to people, because there's so much. At the end of the day, it's important to walk. Sometimes it's important to walk some of these wrong avenues, because the only way you learn. Sometimes people, the best way of learning is by making those mistakes themselves. And there's lots of dogma out there. People saying this is the only way to do things, which isn't right. But yeah, thank you very much for inviting me on, and thank you very much for putting this on. But yeah, my journey really started at the age of 17 to 18, where I had quite bad acne, but then I was getting quite bad acne. It wasn't nothing too serious, and then unfortunately my best friend died in a car crash, and it pushed my body into a emotional response. Most people, I don't know if they know, but you generally, before you go into a health crisis, you either have an emotional response, which could be someone dying or someone getting ill, and it can affect you. You can either get a physical response, which could be a car crash or breaking some bones, etc., or you can get a chemical response, which could be to recreational drugs or maybe to even medication. In fact, if people knew how many people got reactions to medication, I don't think that many people will be taking it. But yeah, and mine was a emotional reaction, and it pushed my body into a healing crisis, which led to my acne getting really, really worse all over my chest and back and my face. And it actually got so bad it turned into keloid scarring, which I don't know if many people out there know, but it's like rubbery scars all over my chest and back. And my acne got so bad that I really couldn't play. I was really struggling to play sport. I went to the doctors and they gave me medication for it, and didn't really help. In fact, it just made things worse, really. And I managed to get through university sort of with these issues, but then they actually put me on something called Accutane. I think it's called Accutane in America. And if I knew then what I know now, I'd never would have taken it. It's a vitamin A derivative. It poisons the liver. I mean, it's got, and kidneys. It's actually got a 100% birth defect, so women are told not to get pregnant on it. And if you go out in the sun, it actually burns your skin. So sun's one of the most healing entities on the planet. If you can't go out on that, then there should be alarm bells are ringing. But I listened to the experts, quote unquote, and I went on it. And although it did actually stop bits of my acne, it didn't stop these cysts that kept on coming up. And these cysts would come up, groin, lower back, both my groins, and it started off like they'd come up for a couple of weeks and they'd burst, and then it would be 4 weeks and they'd burst, and then it gets to the point where I could barely walk. And I managed to be able to get out to New Zealand and play after being at Nottingham playing rugby for them. Managed to go out to New Zealand and play, and at the time they actually had to biopsy my cyst, and they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know what they were. Biopsy come back, they still didn't know what it was. They put me on antibiotics, which got rid of it for the first time, but then it came back and they didn't get rid of it again. I then managed to go out and play in Scotland, but at this time it just become too much, and it actually stopped me from like running around, and it got to such a point that it was just a nightmare, to be honest with you. The acne was still, I had these like cysts all over my body as well, and anytime anyone touched me, I had to wear two shirts really, because of blood coming through my shirt, and it was hugely embarrassing, especially if you're trying to go on dates. Just in general, it just wasn't fun. So when I stopped coming back from Scotland, I went to my dermatologist, who said, "Well, anything we can do is we can put you on some steroids orally," which he did, which got rid of the acne for a little bit. But I went up from 95 kg. I went from 95 kg to 75 kg to about 95 kg. And I also, what else I did? Oh, they started giving me steroid injections all over my chest and back. I got about 50 of them every Monday for £250 a time, which was lovely, which was excruciating, painful. And nothing happened. The keloids didn't go down. When I come off the steroids, the acne came back, and the cysts were just excruciating to the point where I couldn't walk. And so the next thing he said was, well, I think we should get surgery and cut these cysts out. So listening to the experts, I went and got surgery. They cut them out, but then after that, they came back. And he said, oh, we'll do another surgery. This time they won't come back. So I went for it again. And they did come back in the end. But after that, after my immune system was so shot to bits, I actually developed thrush of the mouth, which was like having a knife stuck in my mouth every time I tried to eat. And where I'd had so many antibiotics and anesthetic, it actually wiped out my whole gut flora. So I had crippling gut issues, which then led to me just being ill all the time. Got Epstein-Barr virus, glandular fever, and when I ended up in a biological medicine practitioner. He told me I was like about 2 stages away from, or two levels of toxicity away from cancer. Had parasitic problems, had mercury poisoning, so I was in quite a bad way. Yeah, I mean, I remember being on my parents' couch in about 2008, just wondering if this is what life's going to be like. Do I really want to be here? I just didn't know where to turn. I've been to see all the experts, and it was just a chance, a bit of a chance viewing of watching a boxer called David Hay, who was fighting for the world title. One of his shows was just showing all his training behind the scenes, and his trainer come on. He was talking about, detoxing the body and having probiotics and juicing, having organic foods. Not having protein shakes, but doing all these things differently. And I was like, well, I need to speak to this guy. He's talking a different game to whatever I've heard before. And bearing in mind, I trained with the best in the world in rugby, and I was having all supplements they were having. And if you're thinking these people are the best in the world, they're having them, they should be fine for you. But I now know that was definitely not the truth. But yeah, I went to speak. This guy was called Ruben Tavares. I got in touch with him. I think the next day I made an appointment to see him. I think the first appointment cost me about £250, and he opened my eyes to a world I didn't even know existed. And that led to me. He told me how toxic I was, how I had candida, how I needed to change my diet, detox my body, detox my liver, go and see a biological medicine practitioner, and he put me on a diet. And I was mentored by him for like the next 1.5, 2 years. And, from there I never looked back, and sent me on a journey of going around the world and learning from the best. And, ever since I saw him, I've never had a skin issue again, never had a gut issue again. I feel fantastic, and I've been helping people with their health issues for like the last 9 to 10 years.
I mean, really, that's amazing. And that's one of the reasons why, you're so good. I'm sure it's why you're so good at what you do as well, because you've been through this, and you weren't just like, quote unquote, unhealthy. I mean, you went through the ringer, and, I'm sure you probably felt like you were like going through hell at some points, and to be able to do what you're doing now, I commend you a lot, because it's hard, it's hard to go through these things. And I can imagine just everything that you had to go through, even just the starting of the emotional breakdown and then into your body. And, but then you taking those steps to learn from the best and traveling and just not compromising anymore on your health. So I really commend you for that. And I really feel like I sense from you such a humility and you have a strong presence about yourself, but there's like also humility and a compassion that's deep down that I'm sure comes from your own experience. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think a lot of people get into, a lot of coaches might get into nutrition. Well, let's say people either generally get in for two reasons. Well, you've either gone through it yourself, and you've learned the truth, and you want to share that truth with everyone. You want to help people, and once you've done that, it's like you once you've taken the red pill, or they say in the Matrix, red or the blue pill. Once you've gone down that rabbit hole and seen how far it goes, and you start looking to other things, you want to tell people, you want to help people, you don't want them to be suffering unnecessarily. Other people might get into it because it seems something cool, or they're interested in nutrition. But once you've been through that, you can really understand how much your clients are hurting, how it feels, to want to go through the pain, and also number two, to be so frustrated and not get those results, and to see all the specialists and consultants and all these rock stars in white coats who don't give you the results you want, and they're the experts, and you just sitting there thinking, well, what's wrong with me? I've got a defective body, which you later learn it's not. It's not the fact at all. It's just a result of our modern lifestyle. And so, yeah, I think once you've been through the ringer yourself, once you've understood how to heal, then you feel sorry, not saying for it, but you can empathize with your clients because you've been there. Whereas a lot of doctors as well, they've gone and done a specialist, they've learned, but they've never been through it themselves, and so a lot of them end up saying things like, "Oh, it's just in your head," to your clients or their patients, and it's like, I don't think you understand. It's not in the head. Just because you don't know how to hear it doesn't mean they're not telling the truth.
Yeah, that was pretty much what my journey was, and I had to take my health in my own hands. But even, I went so far on my own before actually having any specialists. But when I did include specialists, which was like a naturopath and a holistic doctor, I don't know if this was your experience with the man who changed your life, but the tests were really simple. It didn't take like tons of digging to figure out what was going on. I don't know. How was that with you? I mean, did you find that once you met that right person, that it was a very simple process to get to the bottom of what was going on?
Yeah, I find this a lot of time actually with, it's amazing, like doctors and medical industry, they want to chuck Latin at people and try and make things more complicated. You've got all these specialists, you've got the oncologist, and then you've got like the gastrointestinist, and you've got the endocrinologist, etc. They're all trying to tell you that these are all specialist parts of the body. What they don't realize is they all work together. And we like to say it's something that a specialist is someone who knows more and more about less and less until they know absolutely everything about nothing. It's because you can't move your right leg without your left leg following, and you get mental, emotional problems that turn into physical problems, and physical problems that turn into mental, emotional problems. And when you strip it back, I mean, there's really like 6 key factors to health, and it's like diet, movement, nutrition, breathing. Then you look at the mental, emotional aspect, and there's one more as well. I'm forgetting there, but all this is huge. And so he's talking about my diet. I stopped. He told me about how toxic I was, and about my toxic load. And this is something I'd never even known before. I mean, I was a professional sportsman, and I was just having, energy in, energy out. You just eat this, it doesn't matter. And yet I used to wonder, like having these big green Hulk shakes, like this can't be good for you, right? It's glowing like a neon light. Surely that can't be good for you. But this is what happens though. Like people they've done studies on this. They'll be in a room of 10 people. And the think it's the teacher will ask a question, and if 8 people or 9 people out of the 10 all put the wrong answer on purpose, like there's not 10 people in the room, one person's there, and they don't know that this is actually a test, and 9 people give the wrong answer, and even if that one person knows the answer is wrong, he'll give the wrong answer just to conform. And so it's hard for you to step out of that, especially if you're young in the game. But yeah, it was very simple. It was simple in terms of, it was changing my diet, changing my outlook to things. It got a little bit more complicated when it was like taking, cleansing my body of candida and mercury, and just understanding the process of that, and going through a little bit of a healing crisis and a bit of turbulence. But, it was simple in terms of diet, hydration, buying organic food, listening to my body, not ignoring these symptoms, understanding all this was a process. And hugely much more simple than the doctors are trying to make it out to be.
Everything that's now known as alternative, right? Which is actually should be traditional. Mm-hmm. It's really interesting just to see, once you get to the bottom of this, it feels to me like the solutions are very, very simple. And so I guess I feel for me, it's very obvious that what is happening, and the Western medical model in particular, is that it's really about profit. It's profit over people. It's not really a wellness model. It's a sick model, mm-hmm. basically. And in that model, it's to kind of keep you trapped within that, versus like taking your power back. Because so much of this, I think if you have a good coach, you can do this without any medical doctor on hand.
I mean, just from myself, Yeah, I mean they the more complicated they try and make it, the more simplistic we have to make it. These are things you can't argue with. Water is essential. Good food is essential. This is the thing, like organic. This is the thing as well. Like organic produce, people try and argue with you and tell you organic versus non-organic. It's no difference. And it's like, first of all, who's paying to say that? Because you've got to be a little bit stupid to believe that. You've got food that's sprayed with pesticides, herbicides, rodenticides, larvicides, fungicides, and grown with chemical fertilizer compared to food that hasn't. You do the math. Your body's only got a certain toxic threshold. If you've got 2 million toxins coming in, and only 1 million toxins coming out, well, sooner or later, you keep blowing up a balloon. One day it's going to burst, and it is simple on that basis, but people tell you, your body doesn't need to do detoxification protocols. It can do it itself. It can do it itself. The liver and kidneys are phenomenal. I mean, your liver being your major detoxification organ along with your skin, it's phenomenal, but we're not in 1940 anymore. We're in 2018 when we are bombarded by toxins from food, from the poor water supply, from EMF frequencies, and we've got Wi-Fi on the go constantly, which is disrupting people at a biological level. Just looking to the work of Dr. Deborah Davis on that. It's from when we got 5G coming out now. There's a million one that overall stress levels are through the roof. People got to try and pay their mortgages, mental. I mean, you can go on and on and on with this. Fragrances that you women put on all day long. I mean, 5 kg of toxic sludge from makeup that goes through the skin, and people wonder why they got skin issues and hormone issues and adrenal problems and chronic fatigue and thyroid issues. It's like, well, where do you want me to start? This is not me scaremongering. This is me telling you the truth. And even with the organic certifications, I think in England there used to be 2, and now there's 9. The standard bearers are Soil Association and organic farmers and growers. And in America, I think you used to have 5, and now you have 95. People say, oh, look, the tests show that these organic foods are no different to the conventional foods. Yeah, well, there's a reason for that. That's because organic food was the biggest growing industry, I think, in the last 2 to 3 years. And these companies, big companies, pharmaceutical companies, saw that, and another, I think you've got 5 companies that run 90% of the food chain in the world, companies like General Mills, etc. They saw this happening, and they just decided to buy organic certifications. And then they tested their food versus their organic food versus their normal food and said, look, there's no difference. Yeah, because you bought the certification, whereas the real certifications take 2 to 3 years of growing food organically to even get that certification. They have to come and do checks on your farm all the time, and that takes a process that these guys don't want to go through, and they want to tell you that GMO food is the way forward, and organic farming isn't sustainable, which is, excuse my French, a complete crock of shit. You can look into, I think there's a book out there called the 40 Centuries of Farming. So I think it's 4 or 4 like that. You can. There's so much information out there if you want to research it. But yeah, I completely agree with you guys, and this is why it's so good to be doing shows like this and getting you. I want to get you guys on my podcast as well, so you can tell your story, because people just need to hear these stories more and more. So it's just like the way that we've been brainwashed into thinking like the left is right and the right is left. We need to brainwash people back out of it and get them to understand and listen to their gut and listen to their heart more than their mind that's been completely just told false truths.
So I completely agree with you. I have a question for you. You had talked about the study that they had done about, 9 people in a room, or 10 people in a room, 9 people doing the wrong answer, and the 10th person just putting in the wrong answer just to conform. Do you feel that is, I'm sure there's maybe several other issues, but do you feel like that's one of the main reasons that people are walking around sick and not knowing what to do, just because everything is out there, this media, promoting all this food and all this. I mean, do you feel that it's just really a conformity issue, or what do you feel?
Well, but I think both, I think first of all, most people just don't know, because why would you? I only found out because I got ill. You get up, you have a bowl of cereal, you then go and have a ham sandwich for lunch or whatever it is, and you have cups of tea and you drink milk and then you have dinner and you have a chocolate biscuit and whatever, and people just go, oh, it's fine, if I get ill I can take a pill. They don't know. I didn't know. My parents didn't know. It wasn't their fault. My mum had a mouthful of mercury that was completely destroyed me, but she didn't know. It's just what she got told by the experts. And so I don't blame people. The conformity issue, I think, is if you're just because a million people are wrong, it doesn't make them right, you know. And if you're the one person in a room full of crazy people saying the truth, you sound like the crazy person. But once you see results and you get results, it's like what I say to people. Like, it's funny because I went through this myself. I was listening to something Paul Chek said today as well. He said, like, the hero's journey the hero has to go through struggle, because otherwise, if there's no challenge, then he'd never be a hero. For example, you know, you'd never be able to go through that, and that comes with people laughing at you, mocking you, telling you that you're wrong and you're a lunatic. And then 10 years later, after they've been laughing for the last 9 years, they start going, "Oh, Ryan, everything you said has come true." Or, "Ryan, can you help me with this?" It's like, well, no, I can't actually enjoy it now. I'd still help them, but it's just funny. Like, you just people when they're ready. When people say when the student's ready, the teacher will come, and people have to go through these things. And I say people have to learn the hard way. You know, people are they're not proactive. They're reactionary. So they don't want to change. They want to do things their way, and then only when the pain of change becomes less than the pain itself, then they'll change. Because, you know, and if they don't, unfortunately, you get a disease and you probably die. And that's just not me being blunt. That's just me being honest, you know. And there's lots of reasons for this. But people conforming as well. A lot of people don't want to step outside the herd, or, you know, this even happens in politics. You get people like who probably over you guys, you know. I mean, I think left and right wing are part of the same bird. I think it's a lot of it's load nonsense. But you know, people are gonna vote for people are going to say, "Oh, Donald Trump's this, Donald Trump's that, he's a disgrace," and people in the room will go, yeah, I agree. In quiet, they go, "Well, no, I actually like Donald Trump." So they conform to that, and then they might go off in secret and vote for him. So there's people that just conform publicly, and then they go away in their own and they do their own thing. But yeah, there's a lot of people that will follow the crowd just because something that Jason Christoph, I know you're going to get on here. There's a lot. That's been a true alpha male. It's not going around being a bully and telling everyone you're right and just trying to go out there and sleep with as many women as possible. It's the man who says the truth and what he believes and goes around and shows the truth. And I've got abuse from so many people about things about vaccines for a long time and about organic food and, you know, gut health being so important. And then all of a sudden people, someone's baby or have a vaccine and they'll go blind, like they'll go shut off behind the eyes, and they're like, "Oh my God, Ryan." And you know, unfortunately, I've got no agenda. Same as you guys, you know, you just want people to be healthy and happy and to do that. I'm not here promoting. I haven't got. We're here to make a living, of course, and you know, you learn and you invest in yourself. And this is the things people don't understand. Like, yeah, whatever we charge for our services is what we charge. I learned a long time ago, like, giving people stuff for free, they don't take it seriously. So I have a reasonable barrier of entry on my programs, and suppose you do, because I want people to take it seriously. Because when they have to invest in themselves, if they give things for nothing, they don't take it seriously. But I also give loads of information out there for free, so people can start to learn, like you do, guys, with the podcast and this, and so people can start to learn and understand. But you know, when it comes down to it, what's happened is people are giving the ownership of their health to other people. You know, they come to. I was talking about Warren Williams about this on one of my recent podcasts. It's like people come to you and they tell you all these things, and it's like they want you to give them permission to keep on doing the stuff that's making a meal. And you're like, well, you can keep on doing it if you want, and I'll take your money, but it's not going to make you any healthier. It's not going to get you any better. So it's up to you. So when they realise they have to change, and you know, I always say to my clients, I'm responsible. I'm responsible to you, which means I'll be there and I'll help you through it and I'll guide you the whole way. But I'm not responsible for you. I can't make you do it. You have to want to walk the path, and when you're ready, I'll be here. And you know, it's just the way. And people, once they start seeing those results, that you probably didn't notice it yourself. I mean, I've dealt with clients that spent £21,000 on IVF and not got any results. We put them in a program for 4 months and boom, pregnant. And I've had it loads of times, and people that have come to me, and one of my clients, I always refer to her, it's a sensationalist story, but it's just one that people don't believe. You know, Emil, she come to me, she could only eat 5 foods for 16 years. All the specialist consultants couldn't help, a nutritionist stopped calling her back.
5 foods? Hold on.
5 foods. It's unbelievable, yeah. And 5 foods, and the foods that she was given to eat by this dietitian, it was like the who's and what not to eat if you've got a gut issue. And we worked with her, and after 4 months, we got her on so many different foods. Remember she rang me up crying because she'd eaten an avocado for the first time in 16 years, and we got her in loads of different foods. And I've done this is the stories. I'm at chronic fatigue, adrenal fatigue, because people don't realise, like, with gut issues, there's certain ways to go about things, but majority of chronic issues, it's the way you heal anything is the way you heal everything. With a few subtle differences, but people think that their disease is unique, but it's not. It's just their weakness coming out. So we like to say, your genetics load the gun, and your lifestyle pulls the trigger. And so whatever your genetic predisposition to disease is what comes out. So for me, it was my skin, and then it was my gut issues with cysts and probably other issues. Other people, it can be adrenal fatigue, or it could be cancer, or it could be. I'm actually going to interview. You guys should do it as well. A guy called Matt Embury just got a film out called Living Proof. It's on iTunes, all about multiple sclerosis, and he went through it, and he got diagnosed with it at 19, and he's now 39, and he's absolutely fine because he looked into it, researched diet, vitamin D, lifestyle, big time. And this is, people don't understand that the body wants to be healthy. Its default setting is health. It's all the stuff that we do to it that pushes it into dis-ease, body at dis-ease, which is disease. And once you start to correct those imbalances, it's amazing what can happen. It's just hard in a modern life. If you're going through life and you're enjoying it and you're drinking and everything, it's hard to just step out of that because you're enjoying it, but you don't really understand what you're really doing is self-medicating. But it's just your body wants to heal. Its default setting is health. It just needs to be shown, pointed in the right direction. And I always say, I've never healed anyone. I've just given them the tools and the circumstances to do it. The body's done it every time.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness, that people like you and I feel like us are stepping out and speaking, though, right? Because it is about people like self-medicating, but it's also, like we were saying, the information that's out there. I know, for example, when I was pregnant, I planned on having a home birth anyway, but I ended up having to fire my OB very early on in the pregnancy because they require that you do a glucose test. Well, what that glucose test is, it's straight like GMO corn syrup and sugar. And if I fail that test, they're going to put me on a diet worse than I already have. So for me, I eat paleo as it is. So I went ahead and just fired my OB because I thought this is ridiculous. It doesn't make sense. If you think about it, it truly just does not make sense. So you have that. And then I've also noticed what's been circulating around Facebook a lot lately. I don't know if you guys have seen this, these articles saying how beneficial alcohol is, the consumption of alcohol.
Yeah, I've seen different articles on that.
Yeah, and how it's better for you than actually exercising. I saw one recently. It was saying, a couple drinks a day, like, lower your risk of heart disease, cancer, all these things. And it's just, I don't know. I look at that and it
you know what it will lower your risk of. It will lower your risk of actually getting healthy. That'd be it.
That's awesome.
I think these things come out. I think a lot of the time this is all like fake news, but pushed by these companies that they just try to put random stuff out. And it's just do it. Have 2 drinks every day. See how you feel. Do it for a month. See how you feel. See how you look. Just be your own. You're your own best doctor.
Yeah, for the average person, this is like it's almost like enables them to continue the lifestyle, right? Well, this is saying that it's okay to do this. So, and I really enjoy this. So I'm just going to keep doing this.
Yeah. I mean, that people come to me about chronic conditions, and like things like that. Some of the things that, even like some healthy foods, they can have like an avocado, and it can send them off into a complete healing, into a very painful experience with their gut or a healing crisis or whatever it is. But for a normal person, having 2 drinks a day, okay, it may not affect them for a month. We'll do it for a year and see how you feel. Alcohol is a poison. And if you go out and enjoy a few drinks every now and again, it's not a problem. I want to get to, it's what I always say to my clients, I want to get you to a point where you can go out and step outside the box and have a few drinks and be able to party. But, you've got to take care of the garden. So when you do that, your body can take it. If you want to have a step out and have a meal with friends, it's not a problem. I'm not wanting to be neurotic about this. I want you to get to a stage of health to do that. But we need to get you healthy first, and that needs a certain level of getting there. And I step out and I have some beers on a Saturday sometimes with my mates. or whatever, but I'll have my probiotics out with me for my gut. I'll have my milk thistle before for my liver. I'll take MSM. I'll take olive leaf extract. I do lots of things to help my body deal with this. And I'll have like an organic beer if I can get it. If I'm going to have a vodka, I'll have like a very highly distilled one. I'll have it with Fever Tree organic mix. I'll never have any artificial sweeteners in my lemonade or my Coke. And you just got to do that. This is all damage limitation, So having like a can of Coke with a terrible cheap mixer that's just been it's just full of garbage. It's just basically, you might as well be drinking petrol. It's completely different. Same as a cup of tea. My mum and dad, they're never going to stop drinking cups of tea. They're 70 years old. They enjoy it. But having a cup of tea with an organic tea bag that is unbleached and having it with raw organic milk is a different world to having it with pasteurized, homogenized milk, bleached tea bag, sprayed tea. It's damage limitation, but you need to get to that level of health first so you can deal with that. You need to strengthen your constitution, build your immune system so these things aren't a problem. Otherwise, once you get to the point when they're a problem, everything you can have a problem, but you need to build yourself up. And articles like that, they're sensationalists, that they're garbage. They're just there to blind the masses into thinking they can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then it gives people an excuse to do stuff, but they'll learn quickly, or they won't learn. And then what happens is the lessons you get become more and more painful and go deeper and deeper and deeper till you finally hit a brick wall, where it's either learn or face the consequences.
It's like you said, we either get to a point where, to change, we have to get to the point where the pain that we're in now is, we just can't go on. Like it's worth it to change, it's worth the risk or whatnot, the pain to change versus to stay in this. And unfortunately, that's where, most people have to get to. And again, like I said, that's unfortunate, but it is, it's almost like welcomed. Sickness is almost welcomed in our society. People feel sorry. You get attention, right? So, even that goes to a deeper issue of like wounding on some level, which could be a whole other topic. But it really, it's like when you're well and feeling good, people don't really want to hear about that. But if you're sick, people love to, it's like the misery. It's like the misery loves company. So I feel like there's so much emotional stuff with that for people as well, like within their healing, that they're not ready to give that up yet. Do you find that sometimes when you're working with people?
Oh yeah, people. I always go through I don't charge for consultations. My programs require an investment, but my consultations I like to speak to people for about. I go through quite a rigorous consultation with them beforehand, 40 minutes to like an hour, everyone, just so I can really understand. And one of it's just to see if they're a good fit for me as well, because you can't help the world, you can't help everyone, and there's no point of trying to help someone who doesn't want to get better. And lots of people, they hold on to these afflictions because it gives them something to moan about. That's not me being harsh; it's just true. And when they're finally ready, then we'll be here, or I'll be here, or you guys will be there to help them. But I don't force anyone into anything. I don't take money off people, even if I know I can't help. There's no point. I'll just say, look, you're not ready. So the other day, someone, you're just not ready for this. Like you're not ready for it. And when you are, I'll be here. But people love their afflictions. It gives them something to moan about. And the problem is these nightmares. When their nightmare is bigger than their dream, they can't see a way out. But as I say, it gives them an excuse to not do things. Oh, I can't do that because of my IBS, or I can't do that because of my chronic fatigue, or I'd love to do that, but I can't. I'd love to do that. Is that true, or are you just not doing it because you don't want to and using your affliction as an excuse?
Hanging on to their story. Can you repeat that quote? You said when their nightmare is bigger than their dream. Can you repeat that again? That was really powerful.
When their nightmare is bigger than their dream, they'll always stay in their nightmare. Because this is why one of the first things we do in our programs, I always work on the mind. The mind's powerful. And lots of these people who are in their subconscious a lot, they never make it part of their conscious mind to the forefront. And, if you're stuck in your nightmare and you can't see a way out, there's no light at the end of the tunnel, then you don't know how to get out. So you will stay there. And these nightmare situations become all consuming. They become something that you can't really get out of because first of all, you probably don't know how and you're stuck in them. And then it becomes like it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, like Groundhog Day. You go round and round in a circle. So I always work on that, getting people to understand and looking like what your dream look like. What will be your dream scenario in a year from now? Because they can get there. You can get rid of these things. Are the symptoms. They're not you. That is a symptom of what you've been going through. And when you change things, it's amazing what can happen. I say, for things to change, things need to change. You can't keep on doing the same thing expecting a different result. As you say, Albert Einstein's famous quote, it's insanity, right? So, and when people don't have a dream that's bigger than their nightmare, they'll stay in it. And so it's really important. That's why you can, passion and purpose is huge. You get these people that are hugely rich, they've got no passion, no purpose, and you see it with film stars all the time. There's not enough drugs or sex to be had in the world, and they can't deal with it. They've got nothing inside. They look great from the outside driving their Lamborghini, but they've got no passion, no purpose. Even the acting's not enough from the fame's not enough of them. This is what Jim Carrey's gone through recently. He's realised, people think he's gone nuts. No, he's actually gone sane. Yeah. So he's realised, like, this is what happened. Like, he's starting to understand. It's all a load of nonsense. All that, unless you've got. It's great, have a nice house, have a nice car, but unless you do the internal work, understand what your passion is, what your purpose is, what you enjoy, other than just stuff. Because material possessions will only get you so far. You need to be happy with yourself. If you're not happy with yourself, you're the only person you're with 100% of the time. Yeah, and so if you can't get on with yourself, then you're in a bad way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I completely agree. And I love how you said, you got to do the work, and the work is many layers deep, on in a lot of ways. And, that's the thing, like in the beginning when when Jessica introduced you, that's one thing that is so powerful, I feel, in your work, is that you don't just look at the physical, you look at all areas of someone's health, and, from emotional, physical, spiritual, there's so many things. I'm sure you even do way more than that, but there's just so many pieces of the puzzle that, and again, I know it's simpler, but sometimes it is a little complex, at least for people to have the awareness to be brought in, to be able to see what's happening, to see their story, to be able to choose whether they want to let go of their story, if they're really, truly ready, because that's a big deal for a lot of people. I work with women mainly, and I'm a coach for them. And, I've had to let some clients go because they're not ready to let go of their story, and they're not ready to go there. And there's just a lot of maybe excuses or different things like that. And it's okay. That's where they're at. However, we have to be able to do that. And that requires really asking ourselves the hard questions. And it's a tough place to get to. So I want to ask you, this is the first step that you take your clients through? Like, I know you do an assessment, but do you just kind of target it towards what they're going through, or do you target gut health first, or parasites, or
So yeah, that'll be we don't really. I have, like I say, though we've got a structure. There's no standard process because there's no standard human being. And so we go through a certain structure. And different people that got a gut issue, we will be moving them on to it. We've got 3 stages of a gut revival plan, and we go through that. And other people have a 21-day health reset that I put them through after. But the first thing we do is we always work on the mind, because without the mind being healthy, the body can't follow. And so we give them certain questions that allow them to really dig into all the roadblocks and things that are getting in their way from stopping them being the person they want to be. Toxic situations, toxic people, all the things that are blocking them from their dream situation, and really get them to understand and answer questions that, they come back and say, Ryan, that was the powerful thing. It's like a therapy session. I was like, that's good. I want you to answer those questions. I want you to get deep in there, because without you going into yourself and actually understanding what the truth is, you're never going to move forward. And so from there, we go into different, if someone's got a gut issue, depending on how severe it is, we'll strip it right back and give them their gut time to heal. Lots of people, they're going for a gut issue, and some of the things that they've been told to eat is just moronic. But it's like if you've got a scab and you keep on picking it off, it never heals. So you've got to give their gut time to heal. Other people, for example, if people are very, very toxic, we have a whole a full body detoxification plan that we go through that incorporates colon, liver, kidneys, parasites and heavy metals, etc. got a different, but a lot of it, all of it is in conjunction with mental and emotional work, things that allow them to declutter their mind as well. And also we use different energetic healing modalities as well to build internal energy, because most people are so depleted of internal energy, their body can't heal. And you've got these people that are ill, they're going around, they're running marathons, or they're doing 3 days, 4 days in the gym, and they're wondering, Ryan, why am I getting better? It's like, well, your body's using all of its energy to try and heal from the exercise you're doing. It's got absolutely no internal energy left to heal you. And, you know, I've had this before with lots of women, even women. One of my clients recently, she went through a very traumatic experience of losing a child through to give her a stillbirth. And afterwards, even though her partner's in the fitness industry, etc., she was trying to get her physique back, and she was in the gym 5 times a week, and she was eating quite a lot, eating like what she thought was healthy, and she couldn't lose the weight. And she was, and Chris, her husband, come to me and said, Ryan, can you help her? And I was like, yeah, okay. Went through it, and I said to her, like, you need to give your body time to heal. Like, you need to relax. We stripped her right back. I said, look, I don't want you stepping foot in the gym for at least 2 months. I want to give the body time to heal, to nourish. We gave her loads of energetic modalities to do, maybe walking, discovery walks. Got her to really eat healing foods that were just going to heal her at an energetic level, but also give her all of her organs time to heal as well. And, you know, she dropped 8 kgs in about 8 weeks. And was like, I can't believe it, Ryan, I haven't stepped foot in the gym. I was like, because your body was in survival mode. Everything you were doing to it, it's in survival mode. It's going to cling on to all that weight because it doesn't know when it's going to need it. Instead of, it's always in your fight and flight nervous system. You're not in your rest and digest. You're not able to heal and relax, and your hormones are all over the place because you've gone through a traumatic experience. You know, that's going to affect you mentally, emotionally, physically, hormonally. Your endocrine system is going to be out, and keep pushing it. I always say to people, I don't know if I've used this before with you guys, but you know, if you keep on smashing a plate, it becomes harder and harder to put back together. And so you need to give it time to heal. Your body has only got so many resources, and if you can't, but it's another one, you know, if you're trying to start a fire, you need to have gasoline, right? And if you haven't got any gasoline to put on it, then the fire burns out. And you know, you need that gasoline. It comes from internal. It's like lots of people go around and they're having coffee every day, and they don't realize, like, they go, oh, coffee's got loads of benefits. Yeah, it has. It's also got a huge list, a lot longer, of its ill effects to humans, especially women. It's hugely drying for women. It's a central nervous system stimulant. Most of it, if you're not buying organic coffee, then it's the most sprayed coffee in the world. It can give you gut issues. It can rob your body of nutrients. And people are having this all the time. They give them a stimulant in a day. Or a lot of people, I used to work in the gym when I was younger, and my other guys that were trainers there, they couldn't function without coffee. And I was like, and the more you do it, the more you need it. And it's what the Indians call empty fire. You know, your energy should come from within. It shouldn't come from external stimulus. And when I say that, I mean, like, yeah, your food and your rest and stuff, but not something that's just going to fire you up. Your energy should come from within, and it's the same. Because, as I always say, what goes up must come down. And so if you're having all these things, you know, that's why we have 4 seasons. You have winter, summer, autumn, and spring. And people will just don't realize that. I think we talked about this before in the podcast. People are constantly on the go. They're just trying to. It's like if you have your foot on the accelerator of a car, your petrol's going to go down very, very quickly if you're going at 120 miles an hour, and all of a sudden you've got nothing left in the tank, and eventually you will hit a brick wall. Whether you're a man or woman, generally for women it comes a lot quicker, because we like to say women are like Ferraris that are finely tuned. They just go wrong once a month. But men are like pickup trucks. You can just bash them around, and they won't moan until things are right at the end. But eventually things will go wrong. That's why you need to take care of yourself, man or woman. We are different. But yeah, you know, these things need to be, once you start looking at this holistically and understanding everything affects everything. And you know, look, no one's going to be perfect. Everyone's a work in progress, and you start to understand that the deeper you go. But it's just about giving yourself and putting your best foot forward and understanding how you can help yourself, and starting to learn about yourself and listening to these things. That when you get a gut issue, or you get a headache, or a migraine, or you get an allergy, etc. These are not random situations. These are things that have been affected by what you've been doing, nutritionally, physically, spiritually, energetically. And it's down to you to look into that and what's been happening. And if you can't, then you go out there and you work with people, because even coaches need coaches as well. I know. I've dealt with loads of coaches that have come to me, and doctors, etc. And I'm sure you do. And I have coaches for areas in my life that I need help with. So it's not one of the things, especially I know in America, I know your jobs, your world, and people sort of in England as well. People sometimes see like asking for help as weakness. And for me, it's the biggest strength you've ever got, because having another set of eyes on you and keeping you accountable as well as giving you support is a phenomenal thing to get where you need. And I always say to people, you've ever seen a sportsman? No one wins the Olympic gold on their own. They got a coach behind them, or a baseball pitcher, or Tom Brady, for example, one of your guys over there. He's got coaches. All these people. You look at in Europe with football, like Ronaldo, for example, he's got a coach. None of these guys do it on their own, and so it's really important the role that guys like you play or I play and everyone else.
It is so important. However, I feel like you touched on a really big, important topic there. In this is that I feel like just in today's day and age too, we're so separate, social media brings people together on some levels. However, it also brings a level of inauthenticity, I guess. And I hear from a lot of women who, they look on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, and they feel like they don't have it together, but everyone online looks like they have it together. And so they feel like, what is wrong with me? I'm all alone. And I feel like that is one of the biggest illusions and delusions and lies that we can really fall into, is this whole idea of like, we have to do it on our own because so-and-so looks like they're doing amazing online. And I'm such a it's just that whole mental game that we need to just step outside of that and start being real and saying, all right, you know what, I've got some issues here and I need help. So like you said, that's like the biggest, it's hard to do that because we see so many people around us that with the perception of looking like they have it all together.
Yeah. No, 100% agree. I mean, the challenges of being a health coach and running your own business, people don't understand. I'd say like, I have to work on myself hugely, because, when I was first getting into this, the tears and like the frustrations of not getting the business off the ground and like, you're not having the money's coming in, the money's not coming in, you've got to spend money on this, money on that. And then you're trying to obviously heal yourself, keep yourself level. You have to learn, you've got to make time for yourself. It's one of the best important things I did for myself was in the morning, I give myself a morning routine. I get up, I have all my tonics that I need to have. I'll go to the gym, do my routine, and I'll come back and meditate and maybe go for a walk in the woods or something, whatever day it is. And then I get into my day. It resets me. And, it's a constant battle of, when that was the early stage, then you get to build the foundations of your business. It's just from my experience, for example, it's different for everyone else. They got a job, for example, they might have kids and they've got to deal with that. Or someone's ill, for example, you've got to deal with that. You've got to find the ways to do this, but just putting things off and not doing the work to get around them, it's just like, for me, it's like taking medication, you just need you keep on putting it off and the problem gets worse and worse and worse until you need more medication, or you keep on doing it. You need to look at yourself, and no one's got it all figured out. You see these billionaires, a lot of clients come to you like millionaires and billionaires. Paul Chek talks about it. Once he had 36 billionaires working for on his schedule. All the money in the world, and it look like they got it all together from the outside, but they're having huge problems internally, whether it be health-wise, addictions, or whatever. No one's got it all work, and that's why I always like to be real and talk about things and to tell my story, because I know that I tell people all the time I went through hell, and I'm an extrovert. I love going out with my friends, having fun. So I have to rein myself in. Sometimes I say, no, right, get back in your box, go and do this, or you can't do that. And I'll be out with them sometimes and they'll be eating all this and I just won't eat it. Or for example, and it's hard sometimes, but you make a choice, I'm going to pay for it later on. But no, especially in this world of Instagram and everyone looking phenomenal. But how much of it's real? There's loads of companies that have been caught out with photoshopping pictures, and there's nothing. Your imperfections are actually the things that make you you. I think they're the things that are the best things about you. But there's actually a book coming out called, I think it's out now actually, it's called iGeneration. And it goes on to talk about the differences in social activity since 2007, since the iPhone come out. And some of the statistics are huge. Looking at, we used to I think, meet our friends 3 to 3.5 times a week. Now it's something like 2.2 to 2.6. Depression and anxiety have gone through the roof. All this because people are looking at phones and comparing themselves to everyone else. Levels of sex have hugely gone down because people are, instead of having to go and make awkward interactions and speaking to the female sex, they can just go on Pornhub, for example, and just porn, and all these things have changed, and living their life 3 inches in front of their face. I have to deal with that as well with the phone issue because of my business online, I've got clients all over the world. I have to put my phone in airplane mode or put it away or put it in my pocket or whatever just to turn it off to give myself, because if I'm constantly on the go, for example, you can't give what you haven't got. And so if I'm completely depleted, I can't give my clients my best. So I have to sometimes, for their benefit, take myself out of the game. And so 100% that thing of, you know what? It's a funny thing, actually. The most successful people in the world, they don't compare themselves to anyone else. They just worry about what they're doing. When you start comparing yourself to everyone else, you run into problems and you start thinking, why is he doing this? Forget about them. And it's a way of torturing. You know what? Take, as Bruce Lee would say, take what's useful, discard what's not, and then add what's uniquely your own, and it's huge. And you just need to do it in that way. For me, it's been so important, concentrating on myself and my business, for example, and my life, and making myself better. So instead of thinking about what is everyone else doing, because as soon as you start doing that, you compare. And as someone else, it's one of these quotes that always gets banded around, but it's very true. How can you compare your page 1 to someone else's page 368? Everyone's on their own journey. And it's like you guys, you recently started this only recently, right? I mean, I've been doing my coaching for 9 years, but I've only recently been online with my own business for the last 2.5 of my podcast has been out just over a year. And, I get started off at 1,000 downloads. I think I'm up to 3,000 to 4,000 downloads a month. I can't compare myself to someone like Sean Croxton who was getting 250 downloads. He was doing it 9 years. Yeah. We see how we get, and then you meet connections and you see people, and all of a sudden you got things out of there and you build up, and it's so. Yeah. So the life is a journey. It's not a destination. And people need to understand that the journey is where all the learning takes place, where all the growth takes place. If someone's gave you something, you don't get anything from that. The journey and getting there and learning and seeing what works and what doesn't, that's huge. And so just remember, you're a work in progress. You're never finished. And, it's a huge part of it. In fact, when I really started to understand that, working with one of my coaches, it was actually I was one point I was getting so overwhelmed with things not being where I thought they should have been. And I did a course in neuroscience and realized that overwhelm was actually was not actually real. It's just trying to get from A to Z or to Z without even knowing how to get there and worrying about it. But, when I realized that enjoy the process is all part of it, it was like, oh my God, a big weight just come off my shoulders. Yeah. And you're not necessarily growing the business yourself, you understand it as well.
Yeah. Well, for Erin and I, even doing this podcast, I mean, when we started this, our main goal was to be real. We're like, our motto is going to be perfectly imperfect, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is life. Life happens. We both have kids. We have dogs. We have all these things going on. And I mean, we even did a podcast outside one day, and there was an accident on the highway next to where I live. And so we ended up with a helicopter flying over us for half the podcast. Yeah. So, I mean, but the whole point is to show people everything doesn't have to be perfect.
No,
we try to pretend like it is, but the reality is that it's not. And so we're tired of pretending.
Yeah, I might even do a live video on that tomorrow because, guys, I think it's a really important message to get out there. Imperfectly perfect. Your stamina limitation. It's doing what you can do to enjoy their life, but I think it's huge. It's especially nowadays, people got this idea of what's professional and what's not. I sometimes do a lot of the guys in this world. I'll do videos sometimes with my shirt off because I want people to understand just being in the gym and just being real. And also, this is the results of the way I live. but I'm not like a bodybuilder on stage, 4% body fat all year round, but lean, healthy, whatever. And it's part of it, but I'm not sitting there going, it's like you see these pictures that come up and people have been on a 12 to 16 week dieting program religiously for that year. How sustainable is that for the average person? And they might do it for 16 weeks, but they're not walking about that every year, all year round. Even cover models aren't walking about that all year round. But keeping lean and healthy and happy and enjoying life, what's more important, guys? Enjoying a beer once a week with your friends, or some chips or whatever you say, food for the soul, or walking around at 4% body fat, not enjoying life. And that's a huge part of it. You need to have time for the soul. If you have got a chronic health issue, then you need to have the healing time to get through that. But once you've done that, it's not a problem. You just got to, and I'd much rather having friendships and that time with your family and time with even just enjoying yourself. It's part of your human experience. You're meant to enjoy that. So yeah, and embrace the helicopter. I think it's quite cool. It's like being part of a car chase scene. I'll be if I was out doing podcasts outside. I think that's one of the good things about having this sort of thing. You can go and do podcasts anywhere, but be prepared for and expect the unexpected. Like this, my camera's not even working today. But we've just gone through it, so it was working beforehand. But it probably works better for people who haven't got to see my face, so it works well. But it's just one of these things that things crop up, and technology seems to just play out when you don't want it to, doesn't it? But it's the way it is.
It is the way it is. But I love what you said though about working on yourself, because I just led a retreat for women this last weekend in the mountains here in North Carolina, and it was a powerful retreat. But afterwards, I had to decompress and I had to integrate, and I had to take a couple of days where I didn't really want to do anything and nothing major, because it's like I had to fill myself back up, and really allow that to just germinate and, teach me as well, that process. And I feel that, we don't give ourselves enough downtime. Like you said, like whatever, if it's in the morning, like that's what I love, my morning time as well. It sounds like you do too. Like it's quiet. You get up when it's still dark out, and I just love it. Like it sets the tone for your day. And when I don't have that, if something happens, I'm off for the whole day. And I'm like you're saying, you're no good to anybody else. It's like a pitcher being full. Like the faucet is like our self-care, right? The things that we do, our downtime, our walks, our, for meditating or journaling. I'm a big journaler, just whatever it is. It's like turning on the faucet on a sink. I always tell my clients this, and the pitcher, is what, is you basically. So you can go fill up all these cups, but if you turn off that faucet, it's empty at some point and you can't fill up anything more, and you're going to be like, trying to get the last drops out of that pitcher until you turn that faucet back on and go back within. And, so it doesn't make sense, but so many people are running on empty because we're taught in the society that if you just take a break, you take a day off or say a week off, you're lazy, or whatever it is. We have this internal dialogue that we've been production. Yeah, that we've been like programmed, to believe. And so it's really stepping outside of that and saying, oh my gosh, like where I have a feeling in my body here, what does my body here want right now? And if it's rest, then you gotta give yourself rest, but too many people I think are so afraid to step outside of that. And so they just keep going and going and going. And it's just really, I don't know. It makes me really sad because I used to be the same thing. I'm a doer and I can get a lot done, but I have to really.
For how long?
What's that?
That's it. For how long? You can't run like that for. You said there you got some good things. The water faucet. I like to use like the plug and the socket. Some people are plugs, some people are sockets, and for us, and for our client, we're a socket for our clients. They plug themselves into us. So we need to go and plug ourselves into other things to get our energy back. As you said there, like this, especially in America, it's like your job is who you are. You will work until, and it's almost the same over here. Like, only in America could they make yoga combat yoga, it's like inverting. And, it's just because, badge of honor. I mean, I love Americans. I've got so many American friends and stuff. I love the country. It's just a shame that, our countries are in bed with each other. So the bad things for both are sort of, it's they're in each other's pockets. But it's almost a badge of honor to see how much pain you can take, martyr syndrome. How much pain I can take before I get burnt out. Or, I was up at 4 a.m. and I didn't go to bed until 1. It's like, well done. Do that for 4 weeks or for 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and then it will probably be in the right pickle. And then you'll probably need to come to someone like me or someone like you, and sort you out. And I've got, it's just as you were saying, just like everything goes. You've got life goes on. You've got kids, etc. One of my clients the other day said, there's no point in me being on a program because I've got a new gym coming. I've got like a new house, etc. And I said to him, look, that's cool. If you don't want to be on it, that's not a problem. But just want to let you know, life's always going to happen. You're never going to have a perfect 16 weeks. You need to integrate these things into your lifestyle so that you can continually get healthier. And I said, little by little, a little becomes a lot. If you just throw the baby out of the bathwater, all or nothing. I used to be like, it doesn't get you anywhere. You do something for a while and then you come off it. It doesn't get you anywhere. In fact, you go backwards quick because you rebound, etc. So even if you step out of the box, you go out and you have a drink or you have a donut, or whatever you do. Jesse, boring Jess. Whatever you do, whatever you do, you just get back on your box and you take your things with you, and it's not a problem. But as you said there as well, Erin, about the resting, our society has got it so wrong. Instead of working, then having rest to recuperate, people wait until they get chronically ill or until they get cancer. Then it's okay for you to rest. Go and rest because you've got cancer. But that cancer, you've been working on that cancer for 10 to 15 years, studies have shown. Okay, that's been coming for a long while. But if you haven't taken any time to rest, and as I said before, you can only be in the summer months so long. You need that winter to relax. And so you said before, you either rest and you take those downtimes. Those days when you're tired, you're tired. If you want to push yourself, I knew I was doing this tonight. So I got up, did my gym, did some work, and then I went for a walk in the afternoon, listened to some podcasts and some stuff, and come back, did a little bit more work, and then I rested because I knew I was going to have this tonight. I needed to get myself fresh and be able to talk. I didn't want to be completely worn out for you guys, and you've got to take those. It can be a pain, and you've got to be disciplined with yourself, but rest is just as important as the work. It's hugely important.
I totally agree. I feel, though, that so many people are so disconnected from their body nowadays that I don't even know I think people are just so used to feeling tired and feeling empty that they don't even know how to, does that make sense? Like they don't even know what it feels like to be,
We're so in that, yeah. Yeah. We're so in their heads, they've forgotten how to feel. And, people, I don't think I said to you before on the podcast, people walk around and they think, well, everyone gets overweight when they're 50, 60, or everyone's got a knee issue, or everyone's got a gut issue, or, everyone's taking medication. It's normal. No, it's not normal. It's just common. And those things aren't normal. And it's like the fast food. I see people passing something the other. I see people, it's like, I get busy. I would never go to Pizza Express and buy a pizza or McDonald's or whatever. It's just certain things I don't do. I'm sitting there seeing them eating this and I'm thinking, on so many levels, I don't even know where to go with this. I'm like, you're just eating it for calories. You're not even chewing it, which is a huge thing we can go into. You're not even understanding what's in that. It's just, you're just eating it for calories, and then you're wondering why you don't feel great afterwards, or you've got a headache, and it's not even food. I'm like, that's just like food-like products or like food-like stuff that's been made with refined sugar, table salt, white flour. It's got pasteurized. A pizza is just the what's what of what you don't want to be eating, unless you want a chronic issue. Yeah. And people are just having this all the time, and it's like, if you want a pizza every now and again, enjoy it, that's fine. But most people are not just having it on a Sunday afternoon for a treat; they're having it like 4 or 5 times a week, and because it's easy. And I always say people always say to me, "Oh, what's the one thing that you see people doing wrong that you could give advice for?" And I've been through it before. I always say, number one thing I say to people, I see them doing it. It's something called the French paradox. Where they went to France and they did a study, and they were like, how are the French one of the leanest nations in Europe when they eat loads of cheese and they eat pasta and they drink loads of wine, they smoke? And it was when they go to eat and they relax and they spend 2 to 3 hours eating their food and they chew and they converse.
Yeah.
And they're in their rest and digest. Whereas us, most of my clients and your guys, you're at the desk eating your food on the computer.
Or in the car.
Yeah. And you're not even taking time to chew, because digestion starts even before the food's in your mouth. It starts when you start to salivate. Then you get the enzymes to break down the food in your mouth. Most people are not even chewing it. The Taoists say, drink your food and chew your water. You need to chew it to a point where you can, because you've got no teeth in your gut. If you run your tongue along the side of your mouth, that's what it's like in your gut. You've got no teeth down there. So if you're not chewing it, good luck digesting it. And same with the water. You need to move it around your mouth so you get the spleen enzymes in there, so you can really utilize those nutrients. And it's a huge point I always say to my guys: if you're stressed, don't eat. I'd rather you not eat, because you're going to be in your fight and flight. You're not going to digest it. You're not going to extract the nutrients from it. It's just going to become an issue for you. And so wait until you can eat and enjoy it. And if you get a bit hungry, don't worry. Hunger's fine. This shows me the digestion is working. People are so scared of being hungry. Oh my God, I've got hunger. It's like, in the Western world, no one actually knows what hunger feels like. Oh my God. I mean, I used to do it all the time. I remember when I first started, I intermittently fast every day now. It's something that I do. I really enjoy it. I've never been healthy or leaner doing it. And I give my body a rest from digesting food. Most people's digestive systems are under constant stress of digesting food.
Yep.
Never gets a break. And it's like, do you think that was like normal for us? We used to go around and hunt, and when we found food, we'd eat it. And people don't even understand that. Are they hungry, or are the parasites in their gut hungry? Which is a whole other topic. And being hungry is fine. You get hungry for 10 minutes, and then it goes away. You don't need to, as you say, you guys, we've got 20 shops open 24/7, and all this, you've got to eat 5 to 6 meals a day. And even personal trainers are now understanding that that's nonsense. It's complete nonsense. And as long as you're eating good food, and even if you fast for 3 days, you completely regenerate the immune system in 72 hours. People say, you go into starvation mode. For your metabolism to drop even 10%, you'd need to be fasting over 72 hours. So it's all complete palaver to say, but it's just people don't understand. And giving your digestive system a rest is something most people haven't done since day dot. And once they start doing it, they start seeing huge results. And it's just, I mean, we can talk about this sort of stuff for hours. And it's just chew your food, relax. If you're stressed, don't eat. And if you are in a stressful situation, 10 deep breaths, go for a walk, or do something just to relax yourself. Because how many times have you eaten something and you've been in a rush, and then you haven't digested it? You can feel it in your gut. You shouldn't be feeling food in your gut after you've eaten. You shouldn't be having stomach cramps. That's not normal. Gas. Or people like in sports programs, or they're at the gym, they're doing CrossFit or whatever, and they're having these protein shakes, and they're like, "Oh, I've got the protein farts." It's just normal, isn't it? It's like, no, that's gut rot, And it's like casein protein, this slow digesting protein overnight. No, you know why it's slow digesting? It's because you can't digest it. It's the dregs of like the protein industry that they're giving you. You can't digest it. We can go into this for a long time. I think once people understand how important the gut is, 80% of your immune system lies in the gut. Yeah. You've got more neurons in your brain and the spinal system. More neurons in your gut than you have in your brain and the spinal system combined. It's huge. This is why your your intrinsic gut feeling is so important. How often has your gut feeling been wrong? When you stop listening to your head and you start listening to your gut, has it really been wrong that many times? No. And most people, as you said, they can't differentiate it because they're so toxic, their blood's so toxic, they've got their brains just in a toxic soup, and they're putting foods in that they're not even food. It's just like an amalgamation of foods that have been put together by companies that have employed scientists to find a bliss factor that is the right amount of sugar, right amount of salt to keep you eating, that have got all these E numbers in that switch off leptin in your brain to know when you're full. No Pringles, once you pop, you can't stop. There's a reason they've got these slogans, and it's true. I used to sit there and do it. You have a crisp, next thing you know, the whole packet's gone. What's next? McDonald's, they spray their buns in high fructose corn syrup to switch off the leptin in your brain, so you don't know when you're full.
Wow.
So these are the things that people, and they don't know this. And once you know this stuff, you can't unknow it. You know, lucky, I mean, I don't eat McDonald's, but we have 3 ingredients in our chips over here at McDonald's. I think you guys have got 17 ingredients over there. You know, and I mean, this sort of conversation going for hours, and I bore you to death with it. But I just don't think people can understand how much that they're trying to fool you and your body into thinking this is food, and it's just not food.
Well, you're exactly right, and I think it goes back to like another, saying is like, people like to fill their bellies, but not fuel, their bodies. It's like just filling it up, like you were saying, just calories, right? They just want to fill it in with calories, but they're not really putting in good fuel. And it's really about the fuel that we put in. But, and this food, this manufactured, it's not even, like you said, it's not even food. It doesn't even, you do the study on it where the hamburger or the fries from like McDonald's or these fast food places, right? And they don't decompose after years. Like they look exactly the same.
Imagine what that's like in your gut. I always say to people, people try and tell me, because sometimes I deal with athletes and they're like, what, you mean my protein bar's no good? Like, okay, put your protein bar outside on the floor in summer, okay, and put a strawberry next to it, right? And you see which one the ants go for first, yeah? The ants will have to be on death row before they touch that protein bar, and they'll eat the strawberry every day of the week. And also see how long it takes for that protein bar to rot, and see how long it takes that strawberry to rot. And you're eating foods that are devoid of enzymes. This goes back to the kids. The people wondering why. I mean, your country's worse than ours, and thank God for that. The amount of things that they've now got. If you don't conform to society, the psychiatrists have got a pill for you, and kids on ADHD. Is ADHD real? Well, I don't think so. Or is it just kids that are being fed cereal, which is like 46% sugar, as well as having no enzymes in it, completely refined, then being poured over, milk being poured over it that's been homogenized and pasteurized, which has got no enzymes, and also a complete sugar. So you've got sugar on sugar, and then it can't be digested, and they're wondering why kids are running around like lunatics all day. Because they're not eating real food. Trust me, I've done it a million times. Take those foods out of your kids' diet and see what happens to them.
Right.
Take them off the phone as well. Take them off the phone for 4 hours a day, see what happens to them. There's a million and one things, and it's almost like we've lost all these things that were normal. I always say to people, look back at the pictures of your grandparents or great-grandparents. I bet they were lean. I bet they had good relationships. I bet they were happy. And I bet they had a stable relationship. And look at us now. People talk about how clever we are and about how much society's improved. And I'm always like, we've got more health professionals and doctors and therapists than ever before, and more books on diet and nutrition, yet we're fatter and sicker than ever. Yeah. You do the maths. What's gone wrong? People stop listening and stop doing the things that work and are natural, and people start believing in this dogma. You've got the whole vegan movement right now. Some people, that's great. For a lot of people, it's not. And I deal with a lot of sick vegans. Women, their periods stop, their teeth start to rot, their hair fall out, they have no sex drive. Men the same. It might happen over a year or two. Then I'm really healthy, I eat vegan. Well, maybe it was good for you for a while, but now it's not. And there's so much dogma out there. This is the only way. I just think it's like people read a vegan book and they think that's the only way. They don't go and read the books from like the carnivore diets that people have been curing all sorts of diseases just by eating meat. There's a great MD out there, Sean Baker, who's doing it right now. There's loads of people doing it, and it's just like you need to read both sides of the story to understand that maybe that works for them, maybe that one works for them, but generally for most people, the truth somewhere in the middle, and you need to do what works for you. But majority.
You're absolutely right, because I'm at the point now where it's when anybody tells me, like, this is the way to go, or, this is it, right? Like, it's this way or no way, or this is the right way and everything else is the wrong way. I mean, that's just a lie, because it's just not even true. And again, it's maybe for them, it's great, but it doesn't work for everyone, like myself, like I've really explored so much over the years of like food and diet and what's good. And I used to fall into that whole thing, like, oh, I'm going to go do this program, or, or this or this. And, you finally wake up to the fact of like, what does my body want right now? And really listening to that. And like for me lately, honestly, my body, all it's wanted is avocados. I just put a post on it today because I'm like, what is going on with my body? Like, it's just interesting. And and I feel fine, but I have avocado and either grapefruit or orange. That's all my body's wanted, like for a little while now. And I know it'll switch, but I've gotten good at like listening to like, what does it want? What's it craving right now? And there's times I'll go for a couple weeks or, or more without eating meat because it just doesn't want meat. And then there's times where I'm like, I really want some meat. And so I'll go eat meat. So I think it just really comes back to listening to your body and, again, getting rid of all the chemicals and all the crap, that's out there that is inhibiting us from truly listening to our gut instinct, like you're saying.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, 100%. And that's the thing. You've started to learn and listen, and that's a powerful thing. Like, a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people will come to me and say, "Oh, I've been eating this, and I've been getting really bad digestion, or this, that, the other." And I say, "Okay, so why are you still eating it?" "Oh, because this book said so, or my doctor wrote it out for me." I was like, "Okay, well, when did your brain kick in? When do you actually start to listen to your body? It's not working for you, right?" "No." "Oh, okay." It's like, well, we're such a society now where people want to believe a bit of paper because it's been studied by scientists, and it's like, I don't care what that bit of paper says. No one knows my body better than me. I don't care if it's like, you can get people that, most of these studies are done on like Homer Simpson anyway. So what is that? And people say optimal level. Optimal level for who? Not for me. I'm telling you that for a fact. And say about the vegan thing. Vegan short term can be phenomenal for people because it's majority of the time that people have changed up the actual variety in their diet. Most people only eat between 10 and 12 foods, studies have shown, and all of a sudden they have a variety. One of the times they actually start getting more variety in their diet and actually like leafy vegetables and fiber. And then like they're actually up in their water intake. There's a lot of other things they do as well. And then I feel really good. It's like, great, yeah. And I did it for like 6 months and I felt great until I didn't. And then I started to realize that, and I said, like, a lot of people have been through that and have actually said, "Oh, vegan's not the way for long term." People have been through it. I interviewed Leah Keith, who was vegan for 20 years, and she said it done irreversible damage to herself. And like, these are not people that have been on it for 6 months or a year and going, "Oh, I feel good," because she felt good for the first 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Then she didn't. And it meant that she couldn't conceive and all sorts. And so this is what I say to people. It's like, they say people want to come to me and they want to argue. It's like, okay. And this is without me being arrogant or without me having any sort of ego. I just say to them, look, I completely understand because it's part of your journey, but I've been doing this 10 years, I've read all the books that you've read, and I've read all the other side of the books. I've done 60 hours of interviews with the best doctors and natural health people in the world. And I'm going to have more. And I went round and studied in America and India and Thailand, etc. I've done it all. And it's like, have you? Yeah. And it's not because I know what you're saying, but that may be great for you right now. But just don't have a dogma and just say, well, if your body craves meat, don't resist it. Yeah, and it's a big thing. And it does take, because I did a great interview with Paul Chek recently. You guys have got to get him on. He's fun. He's the one person. He's read more books than everyone. He's gone through it. He's someone who lives it. He's absolutely phenomenal. And he was saying, like, a lot of people, reason they're in this is we used to have myths, and we used to have things that we could buy into as a tribe, and we were very tribal people. Mm-hmm. And the long story short is now these things like being a vegan or being a carnivore or being someone who does like extreme sports, whatever it is, they're tribes that we hold to, and we like to have something to defend because we don't know who we are anymore. Yeah, because there's it's very hard for people to stand on their own and to be that pioneer or whatever, and so they'll defend these things to the hilt because it's like having a political view, or because they got nothing else in their life that's so strong. So they're like, no, vegan. It's like, okay, how can you argue with this result? Well, this guy didn't have vegetables for 3 years. He cured himself. I just interviewed Phil Escott, another guy, cured his rheumatoid arthritis and all the other issues he had because he's been on a pure meat diet for 3 years, and he feels phenomenal. Wow. Tell me how he's wrong. And it's just like you can't.
I was hardcore vegan, plant-based vegan for almost 7 years. Mm-hmm. And I, at that time, it was my passion. Like you said, there was nothing else, yeah. Honestly, but it became my passion. But unfortunately, my health started declining. And so
you got the hard way, right?
Yeah, it took me going to a naturopath and her saying, you're going to have to go back to eating meat. And I had a meltdown because I thought, I've been on Facebook, like arguing with people. No,
but that takes a huge thing for you though, because you've either got people that, they're happy to first say, look, I was wrong about this, or I've learned this, because it's easy to hold them to a dogma just to be like, oh no, I'm right. That's a huge thing, like the ego. And look, it might work for a lot of people learning from some guru in India who hasn't touched meat his whole life. Of course it works for him. Where are you from? Are you from India? or like, yeah, I was gonna say, or like Eskimos who, Eskimos who eat mainly fats and different meats, or in England, for example, in winter, or in certain places in America, plants don't grow in ice.
Yeah.
So these people didn't eat plants at that time of year. And Weston A. Price went around, and this is not me digging out vegans, yeah. It's not me digging out.
I was just thinking about him right before
you. It's not me digging out vegans, because it's other people. Most people, a lot of people eat far too much meat. They're not just rock meat, they're terrible meat, CAFOs that have been fed plastic pellets and rendered food, and corn full of mycotoxins, and are up to their knees in feces and sprayed with ammonia to keep it clean. And they should be eating the herbivores that are eating corn. They should be chewing the cud. But I'm just saying, Weston A. Price went around and did all these. He had no pharmaceutical industries paying him. He was just there trying to find out who the healthiest tribes were, and he found that the only tribes that didn't eat meat were the ones where it wasn't readily available. Yep. And every time it was readily available, he went on and trying to search for a healthy tribe that didn't eat meat, and he found one. And then just down the road, he found a healthier tribe that ate meat. And it was just, whenever meat was readily available, he always found the tribe eating it, and they were always healthy. And these tribes didn't even have names for cancer or chronic disease. They didn't have a clue what it was. It wasn't until a white man come in with the 4 white devils of white table salt and pasteurized dairy, refined flour, and what's the other one? Table salt, sodium chloride, pasteurized dairy, white flour, and there's another one as well. I'm forgetting, but anyway, it's sugar, refined sugar. And so, as you said, it takes it's a huge thing for you to be able to say that to people. And I'm not here saying, look, listen to everything. I know it all. I'm just saying, go and find out for yourself. Yeah. Like this, don't take everything I say as it's gospel. Go and prove me wrong. And if you do, that's great. And if vegan works for you, fantastic. And if eating meat works for you, fantastic. Yeah. And if it doesn't, well, then maybe have not so much meat. Or if you're having too much, have some more plant food or whatever it is. But just find out what works for you, and don't buy into the dogma. Because if you just believe in all that, and there's facts that prove otherwise, then you haven't got a belief. You just got a fear-based dogma. That means that you can't step outside of your ego to look at things differently. And it does take a huge person to do that, because I've been down that road before. I used to, when you it's when you get into it and you want to eat, as you said, you probably will try to tell everyone that vegan is the way forward, and it's hard to go, you know what, actually, I was wrong with that. Guys,
I almost had a vegan tattoo.
All right.
That's how poor I was.
Oh, you've got people on here. I mean, there's a guy on there going to farmers and telling them like, oh, this animal wants to die. Does the animal want to die? And a lot of vegans are doing it because, they feel it's cruel to animals. And I had a client say to me, look, I'd rather actually be ill than eat meat. I was like, cool. That's what you want to do. That's up to you. But people don't realize, they say that, oh, animals don't want to die. They shouldn't die for us. It's selfish. I'm like, well, cool. But and I understand that, and I only buy organic meat that's been reared properly, loved for. But I know the healthiest version of me is someone that eats meat, and the healthiest version of me is someone that can. I've got something for you. We're the only animals on the planet, or mammals on the planet, can vote. We're the only people that can make those decisions and make the world a better place. If I'm not at my healthiest, how am I going to affect a better place in the world? And it just goes on, But people always say, oh, animals, that we don't need to eat it to be healthy, and you can get nutritional yeast and all that. Well, it's like, have you ever seen a zebra being taken down by an alligator? There's nothing gracious about that. Or there's things on Netflix. I saw a deer the other day giving birth, and a hyena at the child straight away. That's nature, And it's what I'm saying is grim, but it's nature, and it's there. And as long as people they eat plants, saying, oh, plants can't feel it. Well, the work of I can't remember who it is now. They've shown that 95% of plants are rhizoformers, which means that they are hugely conscious. They can feel pain, and they can even move forwards and backwards. Yeah. And also these plants, they've got funguses in them so they've got funguses in them that eat parasites and take the sap. So they're actually eating animals themselves at a cellular parasitic level. We got to start looking into soil science and looking into Lady Bamford and looking into all these organic farmers, and you'll start to understand that there's things going on under the soil that you don't know. That this is mad world, and so people don't know the research, they don't know it deep enough, and they've read one book and they think that they know it all. And I'm not saying that digging out vegans again. I'm just saying that it's a big thing at the moment that could lead to a lot of health issues down the way. I think people just need to be a little bit more aware and do a bit more research on it.
I agree. And one of the biggest things I feel too for a vegan is the amount of soy that's consumed with a lot of vegans, a lot of processed soy, and which is highly toxic. And I mean, I don't have to tell you, that's one of my biggest, I guess concerns with, veganism is it's all the soy, I guess. That's
yeah. I mean, they've shown in India and stuff, and soy is hugely it's like a huge staple of their diet. They're getting women, girls, as well as the blue light affects this as well. But they're getting girls getting their periods at like 6-7 years old. It's an endocrine disruptor. It's an extra estrogen. It affects the endocrine system. It promotes breast cancer in women. It's hugely affects the hormones of men. It's not, unless it's fermented soy, which is completely different. But normal soy, it's 90 to 95% of it's GMO, same as your corn over there. Yeah, I mean, it's just not good. I always just say like caffeine, dairy, soy, wheat, gluten. You get them out of your life, as well as like alcohol, and you're going to be doing yourself a huge favor. I mean, raw dairy is different, but for most people, if you've got an issue with dairy, then just stay away from it. And it's the same. You just want to stay away from it. And over with us as well now with you guys, wheat. I don't even know if it's the wheat or the gluten anymore. I've done lots of interviews. One with William Davis from the author of Wheat Belly. I've also interviewed Dr. Stephanie Seneff. I mean, this is information that's not going to the best people in the world and learning this stuff. Stephanie Seneff's talking about glyphosate. Anyone wants to look into that? I mean, they spray it over the crops to increase the yield like a week before it goes to harvest. And that stuff's destroying the gut microbiome. It's a huge impact with autism as well as vaccines. And it's just a nightmare. So if you want to stay away from wheat, it's saying because wheat isn't even the wheat we used to have back in the day with Emma and Einkorn. No. It's a completely hydrolyzed hybrid of what it was before. It's not wheat. It's not food. And it's just like, you can eat this stuff if you want, but I doubt it's going to do you any good.
Yeah, well, that's kind of what I was going to say too, even going back to like the veganism thing. One of the things that really helped me to step out of that frame of mind was I took a permaculture course. And in that, I came to this place, the realization that there's nothing here that's on the planet that is actually for itself. For every input, there's an output, and it's a cyclical thing. So there's nothing here that's for itself. The real problem lies in how our food is produced, the factory farming, the chemicals that are used on the wheat, right? It's really all about the production. And we need to go back to our roots on how food is produced. So like that, I mean, it can be like, that's a whole big topic in itself too, but.
You guys should honestly interview Leah Keith. Who else is it? Someone else. I mean, if vegans knew how many animals are actually killed through the harvesting process as well. I mean, you've got fields and fields of these monocrops, like fields and fields of corn or the soy. And it's like, there should be a complete diversity of agriculture there. You should have berries and different bushels there and trees, but you go along certain parts of America and certain parts of the UK, and all you see is rapeseed as far as the eye can see. That's not natural. That's not good. And these farmers are only putting in like 3 nutrients back into the soil, NPK fertilizer. And this is salt. And what did the Romans used to do to the fields when they used to take over one of their enemies? They used to salt the fields. You know why? Because it would destroy the nutrients. You put salt on a slug, what happens? It dies. You put salt on the field, it dies. You wipe away someone's food supply, what happens to them? They come to you for the food, right? NPK, and they understand you need like 62 minerals to go back into that soil to create a whole. And then they realize, I'm growing these massive plants and they look really good. But why are these plants so big? Because they're driving in the water, because they've got so much salt in the soil. They need to cling onto every water molecule they can, and it makes the plants look really big. But you've got these big plants that are full of no nutrients.
Yeah. I know. I think I was reading that, like, to get the nutrients from one head of lettuce from like 20 years ago, you would have to eat like 100 heads of lettuce now. Like how depleted our food is.
Yeah, this is why you have to buy organic or the highest quality food you can. You know, people will say organic food is expensive. I'm like, I've had people come to me and like, well, mate, you're driving a Lamborghini. What you want about? You know, like I can't buy organic food. It's too expensive. I'm like, mate, a bag of organic carrots is like £1, or like a bag of organic potatoes is like £1.50. And also, you know, it's just like it's weird. Here's a knife and fork. Go and eat your car. See how far see how far that's going to get you. And you say also organic food satiates you 40% longer than conventional food, so you actually need less. And when your body's getting the right nutrients, it says, no, that's all right, I'm full now, I don't need as much. And so once you start cutting out all the refined rubbish, your food bill goes down a lot. And also, the more people that buy organic food, the cheaper it's going to be. And so it's you vote with your dollars and your pound notes. And you know, we need to get this out to more and more people. And just because there is a change coming, they know you've almost got like two people here. You've got people that are buying organic. I can almost see two breeds of humans coming out. Like the people that are just going to be normal, healthy humans, and the people that are just going to be in a bad way. You know, this is the great thing in the study about epigenetics. It shows you can change your family's genetics by how you live. It doesn't matter if you've got a history of heart disease, breast disease, whatever in your family. If you live a certain way, you'll never express them. And also, if you live a certain way, you'll pass down stronger genetics to your offspring, which is phenomenal. Wow. It tells us that our environment and the way we live are the main factors, not our genes. So people need to understand this, especially women that want to get pregnant. How many people come to you, I'm infertile. It's like, well, your body doesn't want to reproduce, because it's usually toxic. It doesn't want to bring a life into the world. It doesn't think that it can sustainably keep healthy. And so you change things, and all of a sudden they fall pregnant. And we go around, but it's these things that are all part of the same. As just was saying, you know, it's all part of the same ecosystem. You know, like the things in the soil that affect the plants that grow, and they affect the birds that eat the plants, and there's something else that eats that bird, and there's something eats that, and it eats that, and it eats that, and all of a sudden, you know, we eat that. And if people understand, when we're eating that chicken or when we're eating that beef, it's not dying for anything. It's becoming us. That beef is now becoming a part of us. Whatever we eat, whatever we ingest, it's our skin, it's our eyes, it's our spine, it's our spirit. It becomes us. So it's actually getting an upgrade in consciousness. It's now becoming Ryan. It's now becoming Jess. It's now becoming Erin. And so don't look at it as like you're killing that chicken. Saying you're giving it a new consciousness, and you're saying, thank you very much for giving me your life, because I'm now going to use you to be the healthiest version of me, so I can affect change positively in the world. And you know, if you look at it like that, it comes from a bit of a different perspective to just thinking I'm murdering a chicken, because you're not.
I love that. It's really that's really powerful. That really is. So thank you for sharing that, because that's huge. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. Awesome.
As I say, I'm sorry that the camera hasn't worked today. I mean, I can talk to you guys for hours. I mean, if we can go on about this for hours, but I'm sorry the camera hasn't worked today.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Annoying, yeah, it's annoying. But I'll give you a thing. You can put a picture over it. I'll put this out to everyone. But I don't know if anything else you want to discuss, or it's up to you.
What do you think? I don't know. I think we just discussed so many things, and I mean, and it was great, because it was just so much more. It was definitely physical health, but there's so many different like tentacles, you know, that go out from there that we touched on. I guess, you know, maybe if you could maybe we could kind of close with what is like maybe one or two things that someone can just do right now to feel better, or to start feeling better. And, you know, easy peasy type of things that, you know, that they can do.
Well, yeah, I was going to say the first thing that I said to you before is just literally make sure you're chewing your food and getting the rest and digest, and not stressing your system, and just doing things really from just a conscious level. To start to really listen to your body, you know, start to actually understand, like, and give yourself a break. I say to people, but number one for health, etc. Learn to listen to your body, and learn to understand that when you've got maybe you're tired or fatigued, or you're not digesting food properly, that's your body speaking to you. And just start to listen. Maybe what did I do What did I do? What did I eat before that? Or did I have enough water? Basically, in a very, really simple, I always say that health and disease, they go together like oil and water. That you can't have one. If you've got one, you can't have the other one. You can't have health and disease in the same body. And there are 6 foundational principles of health that need to be abided by, really. And they're nutrition, hydration, breathing, thinking, movement, and sleep, which we touched on before. For example, and if you start to get ill in any of these areas, just for example, you just need to do the opposite of what created it. For example, if you didn't sleep enough, you got to sleep more. If you're doing too much exercise, do less. Not give yourself a break. If you're not doing enough, do some more. Do the right amount of movement. If you're eating refined processed foods, then eat more organic foods. If you're not drinking enough water, have more water. If you're drinking too much, have less. And it just goes in all these things. If your thoughts are really negative, or you're getting overwhelmed with things, and just start to journal to cut back on these things, be a bit more, have a bit more introspection, give yourself some time off to maybe go for a walk or to journal, etc. There's loads of these things. These six things, whatever you've done to create these illnesses or to create this dysfunction in your body, just do the opposite. Just give yourself a break and just realize that you are a work in progress, and just make the best choices you can on a daily basis to push you forward. And just realize if you have a bad day, that it's not the end of the world. You're just human. These things happen, and you just every day, if you just do something to push you forward in a direction that you want to go, it's a good day, because no one's going to be perfect every day. But if you can just get those fundamentals right, just to make sure you're getting enough sleep, hydration, enough movement, eating the right foods, getting your right thoughts, getting your breathing right. Breathing's a big one for a lot of people as well, guys. A lot of people forget how to breathe, and if you're forgetting how to breathe, all of a sudden you start chest breathing. It can cause a lot of anxiousness and depression. So maybe just doing the meditation really for 10 minutes a day. You don't have to do it sitting there like Buddha. There's some great apps out there like Headspace. There's one called Brain FM, which is phenomenal. You can download these things and they can sit there, put your headphones on. And even meditation is one of those things that you can even do it. Playing sport can be a form of meditation. Doing colouring can be a form of meditation. These are all things that you can do. So just whatever's going on that's creating these problems in your life, just try and notice it. Give yourself a break, and especially with the food, guys. If you're stressed, don't eat. Really chew your food, and that's a big one, I think, for most people. But if you can just up the quality of your food as well, big one. I mean, we always talk about the health ladder, and how many steps you can go up the health ladder. If you start eating organic food, you go up the ladder 1,000 steps. If you then start having a water filtration system in your house, it's another 1,000 steps. But if you're just having more water, the best solution for pollution is dilution. Very simple. And there's just little things like this, stop putting toxic sludge on your skin as much. Fragrances, be wary of that. Move to essential oils from fragrances. I mean, we can go through it, but just make little steps. I know I've mentioned quite a lot there, because for me, that sometimes I think they're simple, but bit by bit, and don't do it all at once. And if you need help, don't be afraid to ask for it, because there are people out there that really do want to help you, and there's no better investment than an investment in yourself, whether it be financial or energetic or time. Investing in your health. We always say, when a man's got his health, he's got 1,000 dreams, but when he hasn't got his health, he's got one, and that's to get it back. Yeah. So it's a big part of it.
Well, it sounds to me, kind of to sum it up, it sounds like it's really about just being more intentional in everything we're doing, really being aware of why we're doing what we're doing, and being intentional, rather than just going through the motions. So I love that. And and if someone wants to, speaking of asking for help, if someone is interested in talking with you, or maybe setting up a consultation with you, where or how can they contact you?
Best place, I mean, obviously got my Facebook page. They can drop me a message there. We've also got a Facebook page it's Facebook.com/Revive Natural Health. But another place, lots of articles on there, podcasts, etc., is my website at www.reviveyourself.co. It's just .co, and there's a contact section there. They can fill out a form, and or they can send me an email at ryan@reviveyourself.co. But yeah, any of those work. And yeah, I'd be happy to help and speak to anyone that wants it. But yeah, it's been good fun, guys, talking to you. I actually want to get you guys on my podcast so we can share your stories.
Yeah, we would love that. We would love that.
Yeah, it'd be great to get you both on, because I think it's really powerful when you've got your own stories to tell. And, because as you said, it's really great to perfectly imperfect. There's no one that's perfect. And a lot of the people in this industry, they come from a place of you see a lot of it, perfect abs and eating right. There's no one that I've ever come across that's perfect. And I've spoke to some of the biggest health quote unquote gurus out there. Unless you're Buddha, then you're living a modern lifestyle. But happy to help anyone that wants it. And also just want to say a big thank you to you guys for putting this on for people, because I think they're going to learn a lot, and you've got some great guests lined up, and I really look forward to listening to the interviews with them.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ryan, so much for being our first guest, and just for everything that you do. It just, you can definitely feel your heart and your passion coming through your work. And, when you put up your testimonies from your clients, I mean, it's amazing to see that. So it's amazing. And I love it. Like you're talking about imperfectly perfect, perfectly imperfect, however we want to phrase that. And, it's, you came from a place of learning to have to surrender to what was, so that you could literally rebuild a new you. And that's, I think, what it's about, is asking for help, saying, all right, I don't know what I'm doing here. This is not going okay for me. I'm not feeling good. And finally admitting that, rather than trying to suck it up, and go another day. So yeah, it's just, it's beautiful that there's people like you out there that, can help take people through their journey, in a graceful and in a humble way, but in a very powerful way as well too. And you certainly are making a huge impact. So we just thank you for being a part of this.
Yes. Thank you so much, Ryan. You're amazing.
Thank you.
All right, so I just want to also apologise for my English accent to your audience if they couldn't understand me at all. I do have a habit of speaking too quickly sometimes, which I'm trying to work on, but I'll get to that.
It's that fire element in you, right?
I just get carried away and just go for it, which I apologise for. But no, guys, thank you very much, and I look forward to getting you on my show, and then maybe one day doing a live event with you guys. It would be really good.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be amazing. All right. Have a great night, Ryan. I know, I just want to let everyone know, it's what now? Is it 1 in the morning where you're at?
Yeah, 10 to 1, yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So again, so much gratitude for staying up until 1 a.m. to talk to everyone, and it's amazing information. So thank you so much. Very, very much.
My pleasure.
Okay. Bye.
So, guys and girls, that was my interview with the girls from Your Sacred Witness. It was real good fun. We covered a lot of different topics, and they're always great. I'm going to try and get them on my podcast as well, just to tell you about their stories, why they're doing what they're doing. It's just great. I was going through it today. I've got the next, I've got quite a lot of, I've got brilliant interviews lined up for you. I've just made a list today. I think it's about 70 or 80 people that I want to be getting on. I might have to start going to 2 a week, and I'm going to try and even start doing some of these live. I actually have a wedding this summer in Canada, and we're going to head on over to America for a little bit afterwards. I'm going to try and get some interviews for you guys live, because I think conversations had face to face are just going to be even more powerful than the ones we already have. And actually, I wanted to just have a little talk to you about the episode I did with Dave on urine therapy the other week. Last week's episode. I actually got a couple of comments on my Facebook just before I put this to air, just saying, 99% of them are positive, talking about how much they've seen this topic and they're really interested in it, and they've been researching into it, and it's come up and it's something they want to learn more. And I had a couple of people saying, actually one lady in particular said, this has ruined your credibility with me. If anyone's drowning, you throw them anything, they think it's a life vest. And I was like, well, okay. my job as an interviewer and as a researcher is to investigate everything and keep a completely open mind, because I can guarantee there's things that 10 years ago you would have sworn by that you now know to be false, or vice versa. Things that you would never have done now 10 years later you do, because research changes and you get wiser and you go by not just by the mainstream. You look deeper, you do it for yourself, and you see how things work. And this is what I said to the lady. I said, look, my job is to research. This is something, urotherapy has been done for thousands of years, especially in Taoist China, etc. They've been it's like they also call it man's medicine. Because it's just about investigating. I said, look, not everything's going to resonate with everyone. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's not a problem. You just discard it and you move on. You take the things that do, because everyone's on their own journey at different places, and that's completely fine. We're not here to make you do things you don't want to do, but it is my job to investigate everything and to see what's what and see what works and what doesn't, and it's something I've been playing around with a little bit myself. So just and to be fair, the lady came back and said that's fair enough. As I said, have you listened to the interview? Oh no, I haven't listened to it. But have a little listen and see what you think. And it's the same only thing, guys. You got to keep an open mind, and generally when something triggers you, they put their finger right on your growth potential, because you have to ask yourself, why is that got me so worked up, or what is it about this? Because generally when that happens, sometimes most of our triggers aren't even from ourselves. They're things that we've been taught or learn over time, or some things that our parents have indoctrinated us with, or society has, and we haven't actually done a lot of investigating for ourselves. So it's one of the things that I'm doing here, guys. I'm going to bring you interviews with people about different topics, just so you can really investigate everything. Health's about having, looking deep into different avenues for health, but good health is also about having an open mind and know how to investigate and have a conversation about many different topics. So I'll always be doing that with you guys. As always, I've said our free Friday mini course is still going very strong, and if you've got a chronic issue and you will need help, then we won't understand the basics behind what's going on, then head on over to www.reviveyourself.co. Also, if you're looking for some one-to-one advice, then and you want to try our program to try and get your health back, then you can click on the contact me section of the website and send me a message, or you can email me at ryan@reviveyourself.co, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I've only got a couple of spaces left on our program at the moment, because of the way I work very, very closely with people. So that's it for this week, guys. I've got lots of good interviews coming up. I think I might make Terry Tillard's one next week, because we go into birth certificates and Alfie Evans, and how the government actually has power over you. As soon as you sign that or take them to a doctor, or the state, the government can do what they want. You actually have no legal rights as a parent. The difference between we're going to that probably, and I've got some great ones lined up with Dr. Sean Baker as well, on the carnivore diet. He's an MD, was a former heart surgeon. So anyway, guys, that's it for this week. As always, have a great week. Stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
If you're struggling with gut issues, such as gas, bloating, constipation, diarrhea, indigestion, heartburn, and want to finally be able to eat the foods you love without the crippling after effects, then don't forget to head over to reviveyourself.co and pick up your free copy of The Healing Health Paradigm today.